Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how to draw on your guitar. So it seems like a fairly popular thing to go ahead and draw on your guitar with Sharpies, and there is a better way, as far as I'm concerned, to go ahead and get that kind of drawn, illustrated look, and to give you some more options and to get something that's going to be a little more durable. The problem with those Sharpies or other general, markers that you find is, they're acetone based. They don't have a lot of UV protection in them. They're kind of finicky with the clear coat. They're really not designed for that sort of thing. So there's another option. In fact, there are several, in the form of paint pens. So what I have here, and you won't be able to read that, I don't think, but is an acrylic paint marker. This one is called Deco marker, but there are several different ones. Montana makes them, Montana paints. Posca paint pens are fairly popular. Lots of different options. You can get them in a variety of tip sizes, and they're paint, which is, kind of what you want to use to paint something, right? So the process itself is pretty straightforward. Most of this video is going to be a demo, but if you're only in it to hear how it's done, well, use a compatible base coat. In this case, an acrylic white. You can use any color you want, of course. I chose white and black because I'm keeping this very simple, because I'm not very good at drawing. Then go in with your marker, whatever it happens to be. I generally like acrylic markers because I don't like them to stink, but there are various options there. And then you need to use a compatible clear coat. Now, the beauty of these waterborne acrylics is that they're compatible with, I don't want to say everything, but pretty much everything. There's really no solvent in them. So there's nothing to cause one of those crazy reactions, really, as long as you let them dry properly. So we do this, we let it dry for a day, all that water and the little bit of solvent that's in there evaporates out, and then we can go on with pretty much whatever we want as long as we're spraying it. If you are brushing or wiping on your clear, then you've got a different problem. The solvents in those clears can dissolve these, and if you're moving them around, it can move your marker around and make a heck of a mess. So I recommend that you at least seal it in there with a spray if at all possible, and then you can go over and brush on top of your sealer after if that's what you want to do, as long as it's something that's going to seal this in so that your clear coat doesn't mess with it if you're applying it by hand. So my personal favorite for something like this is to do my acrylic work, whether it's with an airbrush, a marker, whatever it happens to be, and then go over it with a catalyzed polyurethane, because that's what gives me the highest quality looking finish in a reasonable amount of time. Dries overnight. I can polish it within a couple days if I want to. If you're not using a catalyzed paint, you can't really do that. So that's most of the information, really. You've all probably, or well, maybe you haven't. If you haven't seen how to do the guitar painting process in general, to scuff it up, to prepare it, clean it, all of that stuff, feel free to check out one of my video series on how to paint your guitar, whether it be with spray cans or otherwise, or even by hand, to kind of get the basis for that. But once you've got that concept down, it's a simple matter of finding yourself an appropriate paint pen or set of paint pens and going from there. So let's get straight into the demo here, and you can see how this guy works. All right, now in retrospect, the white guitar on the white background, maybe not the best thought out thing I've ever done, but oh well. These generally come with an extra tip, this particular brand. Oh, that's not focusing very well. Extra tip, which they stick in the lid there. And the marker, of course, is full of paint. You've got a tip made of essentially felt. Sorry, I'm trying to get the end on. And you have to load it up first. So if I just go and pull right now, I get some marks. Can you see that? No, you can't. I get some marks. But if I want a wider mark, I push down a couple times to load the tip with paint, and then I can pull a wider line. These are thinning out because this is a slippery surface. But when I go to do it on here, that won't be an issue. So here's the question: what the heck am I going to draw? And where? Let's just start doing something that most airbrush artists are all too familiar with, the age-old, time-tested skull. And there's really not a whole heck of a lot else for me to say about this. You already know you have to let it dry. Me being a lefty, I'm probably going to find a way to smudge this, but let's see what we can do. And before I transition you here into some music that's less annoying than my voice, I will say that if you're not familiar with drawing skulls, use an actual skull as your reference picture, like a true to life image, rather than a stylized one, because if you try and do your own stylization off of a stylized one, I don't have a reference picture here unfortunately, you're going to end up with something ridiculous if you're not used to it. So that's my last tidbit. Let's see how this turns out. Like I said, I'm not much of a drawer, but we'll see what we can do. So if you're feeling a little lazy like me, you probably only want to draw stuff on the top of the guitar. I could be wrong. Maybe you want to illustrate the whole thing. Sometimes those transitions from the top across the curves can be quite difficult. So what I would do, if I were doing this for real, is illustrate the top of the guitar and paint the sides. In this case, I would obviously paint the sides black. And that way it would look like this is just transitioning into black. End of story. So here's my, I don't know what to tell you. I apologize. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and clear coat this now just for the purpose of demonstration, and so that it'll be harder for me to remove later when I want to paint this guitar again. So I'm going to be using some matte clear by Rust-Oleum. This is an acrylic as well, if I'm not mistaken, but it's a solvent-based clear. So this has to dry properly in order for this to work properly. I've had it under a fan for about 10-15 minutes. To be on the safe side, you give it a day, make sure all that water's out of there, but really it evaporates pretty quickly and you can evaporate it under, airflow. So this should be good at this point, and I'm going to clear coat it to prove that. But again, do as I say, not as I do, as usual. Let it dry a day if you're worried. So let's put a little bit of clear on this to protect it, and that'll be about it. So that solves that. Clear coat's on there. It's matte clear, so it's a nice kind of matte, dull finish, but it's even. You can't see the lines from the paint or anything, from the marker rather. So yeah, that's about it. So guys, if you want to draw on your guitar, you want to do an illustration, that sort of artwork, it's really as simple as that. I only did let that water-based marker dry for 10-15 minutes, and then I went ahead with my clear coat. I could quite easily put another couple coats of clear on here if I wanted to protect it more, or if I wanted to go with a gloss finish. I'm just doing matte on this one coat, because it's already going to be hard enough for me to sand through that to remove this atrocious artwork. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section below. If you did like the video, feel free to give it a thumbs up so it's easier for other people to find. I would appreciate that, as always. And thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one. See you next time.